This is just Amazon on Monday, March 11th, 2019. I rewound a couple days. I was not able to do a video Thursday or Friday, unexpectedly getting sick. And so I'm still in the mend, but wanted to kind of recap what I'm seeing the last few days here and just start with going back to where we left off on Wednesday. So hope there was some times in there you were able to trade both bearish and bullish, surprisingly enough. On the daily, we started to pull back a little bit. I was saying still be bullish. And then we had this candle come down. It's like, okay, well, that's obviously not bullish, but okay, great. We can come into this triangle. We actually lost a little bit of bullish momentum. You extend this downtrend line, comes right in here into the low. It's like, okay, this is it. We should bounce off of this. And then Friday happened, and it gapped lower, traded down, and then traded right back up. And this was a nice small hammer, hammer-ish candle. Would like the tail to be a little bit longer here, but this is starting to look like a Morningstar reversal. If we can get some bullishness coming in, we definitely came back, pulled back further than I expected. So I was wrong when I said, okay, be bullish up here. Probably once this candle happened Wednesday, I should have been saying if we break this low, be short-term bearish and look for targets, look for the 21, look for the next lines. I did not expect it to pull back this far because you're actually taking out some of the lows from down here. And so my guess is that a lot of bulls were trapped getting into the breakout here, and they were losing money as this sold back down. And then bears were jumping on down here thinking, okay, it's going bearish. And that's when the bulls came back in and said, nope, we're going to hold this, what's this, 1591 price? It held pretty close to that, 1586.57, and started to bounce. And then today is the Morningstar reversal. So in short, we had a really nice pullback and a nice bounce. And it looks like it should go higher again. We got the bullish momentum coming back in. We're only 6 bars into the squeeze, and so it could definitely keep going. I don't quite have my sights set on 1800 as easily now. This has proved to be a really strong resistance. These 3 lines, this whole area here, we did get through it up here. We sold right back into it the next day. We got into it here and haven't been back up there since. I think we touched this level. Yeah, just barely got into 1450 there. But for many months, going back to, let's see, the last time was beginning of December. This was the last time that we were up above this. And so we really need something strong to push us through. This could be it. I'm not ruling it out. I'm just saying this has been a stronger resistance than I expected. Even when we got this close with the squeeze, I thought we were going to sail right through this, and obviously we did not. So hopefully you risked appropriately and maybe made something on the downside here. I was not trading any of these days with just being sick and stuff. So trying to get a fresh look at it this week to say, okay, what could we be doing? We had a bearish retest gap here. We had a bullish retest gap here. This is looking like a really nice Morningstar reversal. The open and the low of today were 11 cents apart. So a lot of bullishness coming today, and the close and the high were like $2 apart from Friday. So that, that's still really bullish there too. So let's look at the 5-minute. This is where we left off on Wednesday. We were broken down from this channel. Looked like we were going to start to hold this level. Pre-market on Thursday looked like it was going to start to bounce, maybe do some sort of double bottom, and instead it just plummeted. And so let me take a few days off of this. Here we go. So we started to roll down. I'm gonna go through this faster because you know how this played out. We danced around this line, looked like we were going to bounce. We held this uptrend line really, really well. That was this channel right up here. So my cursor says it's around 1650. Is that true? 1650? Yeah. So it's actually really cool. Like this, let me see if I can zoom out to it. Okay. So the line, the channel that I had drawn back here, this is the other point that I put in it. Let me go all the way back. Oh, nice. Okay. This channel that I drew way back here from February 19th to February 26th, that week, or that, those 6 trading days, expanding that out. And I said, okay, I'm going to leave this on here and see what it does. Well, it ended up being a really nice target over here. It's kind of crazy how those work sometimes, but it worked. So that was the next place we paused. Looked like we were going to do something. And I'm sure if nobody else had this uptrend, this very small channel uptrend from a few weeks ago, they would have been like, what's going on this level? And it just fits so well to see where we got some of the bodies of these candles right here. And then, it looks like we're going to roll down and it recovers. And then again, it rolls down. You have a really nice lower highs, relative lows, and then it collapses and comes down to the next line where the same channel, the bottom edge of the channel, and you've got the highs working as resistance. It pushes through it and it just holds. And we didn't get back down into 1617, 54. At least we didn't do that on Thursday. So, I mean, even doing this, as this sold down, that would have been a great place to just take any of these, any of these retests as it's moving bearish. You get some stair steps here that break down, a retest, stair steps that don't break down, break up. I'm sure some people were loading up bullish because you have the bullish candles in here saying, okay, it's going to continue back up, retest this. I thought it was going to come back up here and give a better retest of 1665. It didn't, So once we closed up here, we touched this once as we opened, and that was it. Or I guess, let's see, once during the live trading session, or normal trading hours, touched it once. The open was 2 cents away, traded up, and then came right back down in the same 5 minutes, and haven't been back up here until today. So no spoiler there. I'm sure you've seen the chart today. So, and I just showed it on my other screen here. This one, not other screen, the other window. There you go. Okay. So let me back this up. Let's see what we could have done going into Friday. With this much selling off, it's like, okay, we're doing something bearish. Let's see what we can do here. Let's see if anything is going to give us any sort of retest, any sort of edge. And now we're back into some of these lines, like this one. Let's see. Okay, so these are the uptrend channel. These are the horizontal lines here. We're looking like we're going to open below them. Okay, so 1607, that's one of the lines here. Let's see if we can get up into 1607 and roll over. Let's see if that'll happen. And it doesn't even get that high. Again, let me take a little more time off of this. Okay, we can't even get back up to 1607. We just start to roll down. Now it's like, okay, we're going to hold 1591. No. Oh, well, there's a hammer. That could work. The low here is the 1586.57. So that's actually, this is the low I said from the other day, or from the daily. So seeing this kind of move, and it's like you're thinking, okay, we were up here 16, we're up near 1700. Now we're at the under 1600 in just a matter of days. We need to bounce somewhere. Like, it just seems like it's due. This is kind of like, there's a lot of volume here at the open. This is, any of the bulls who are still in getting trapped, any bears that are late getting in. This is exhaustion volume here. That's what it looks like. Look at the open from Thursday, the open from Wednesday, Thursday, right? Here's Friday. Yeah, so this is Friday. And it's like, okay, in the first 5 minutes is a huge bearish candle and really high volume. And then you get the next candle, which is a really nice hammer at a potential support. I'm not saying it's going to hold because, I mean, just looking at this, not knowing what the low ends up being in the day, just looking at this, it's like, okay, there's no telling that's going to hold. We did something similar here where we broke down and then just went sideways and continued lower. This could go sideways, continue lower. Could totally do that. We do go sideways. And there we go, start to bounce. It's like, okay, that's a really nice inside candle. That's a really nice breakout from that. This, if you kind of squint your eyes, this looks like a nice Morningstar reversal here. So let me get some more time off this again to see these candles a little better. Let's look at this just this day. Here you go. You could be getting in bullish as this broke above this hammer, or you could set up a trade to get in on a pullback. If it pulls back down to this level or somewhere into this hammer range, and stop down here. Easy setup, nice hammer. You get a little bit of a pullback here. Not quite as low as I want it to be into that body. Here's another one. Ooh, a little lower. Where do I want it? I want, give me 1595. Nice round number. 1595, 1590, something like that. That's what I'm going to wait for. There you go. I'm into 1595. I'm into 1593.44, the low here. I'm pulling back into this hammer. I'm going to let this retest into the hammer. I could be in right now if I've got the appropriate stop. And I'm looking for this thing to bounce. I'm looking for that to be exhaustion volume, looking for that hammer to play out, looking for this to turn into a double bottom. All those things saying go bullish here. It's kind of like, we've seen so much of this bearish pullback. We're way down here. We should be retesting. So this is a good fade to carry this back up, go bullish. A nice small hammer here. And let's see. The lows are pretty close. They're like 30 cents apart. The lows on these two. So again, if you're not in yet, you could be looking at this to get in above here and a stop down here or stop underneath here to be conservative, or to be aggressive, but I would be more conservative if you're waiting still. Otherwise, I'd just be in bullish right here because, it retested twice, 2 candles into this range, not just one, Starts to bounce and starts to climb. Immediately right back up into 1617, going sideways, and that breaks out. You could have a target here, you could have a target here. You could, 1607, not 1617, that's up here. This definitely looks like a double bottom with a neckline retest here, which means if this is only the neckline, this has some more room to go. So we should, and then this candle, we should definitely get to 1617. Starts to break out, pull back a little bit. Again, this is Friday, so you don't need huge moves with the options. Look at that, pull back right there into our level. The low here is 1606.97. Our line is 1607, 3 cents. You pulled in by 3 cents and then started to bounce. That's another great place to buy if you weren't in yet, or if you had gotten out at a target, or if you want to tighten up a stop, get it right underneath here now. It's like, it's a huge help to see it bounce off of one of our lines. And let's see, it goes up. Now it looks like it's pulling back again. So maybe it's not going to get all the way up there. Yep. Okay. So it would have been stopped or trailed out for some gain. This starts to look like a double top now. Or this could just be a secondary retest of that neckline. And it could be getting ready to bounce again. So if you keep them bullish perspective, it's going to really help. Nope, this one pulls a little bit deeper, comes back into these candles. That's a little lower than the neckline. But starting to form a Morningstar reversal again, and even turns into like a double bottom. Pull back in the neckline, retesting. So yeah, this looks like a double top, retesting into this. Some really small candles. It's like, okay, it's either going to go bullish, get in above this, or go bearish and get in below here. And go sideways. Look at this. Sideways for 30 minutes here, right into noon, and starts to roll down. It's like, oh, okay, maybe this isn't as bullish as I thought it was. It's not going to just run up. Didn't get up here. It's like, okay, that's a little more bearish. And then it recovers. Then it starts moving up. So it's like, okay, that's a false breakdown. Some of those, it's like, okay, if you just set up your trade, it's going to get you. And then other times it's not. And you're going to, like this, had you set up something inside of this candle, that would have worked really nicely. Had you set it up on this line, it wouldn't have pulled back that far. But like we saw from last week, there was a lot of double bottoms, so that second bottom didn't come down as far. Well, if you zoom out a little bit, here's a double bottom that didn't come in as far. It's just kind of widening out the time frame, looking at the day. This is moving more aggressively, first hour of the day. This is moving a little more slowly, afternoon through or late morning into lunchtime. It's just not going to be as aggressive usually. So here we are into the afternoon, and it's starting to move again. Let's see where it goes. It just grinds sideways. Look at that. It actually ran up here. So same day, it still got up there, pulls back, doesn't get back down here, and starts to roll back up. So this starts to look, again, if you zoom out a little bit, this looks like a bigger S curve. This looks like a nice small S curve. We can see if this one gets going. Yep, that one does. And then on to today, where we start by gapping up. We're up into this this channel, and we barely get any time to sell off. The open and the low of this opening candle, the open and the low are 64 cents. 64 cents off from each other, and start to bounce and just continues to run up. We hit a little bit of a, we weren't hitting anything through here. Why am I saying hitting? We had these nice pullbacks right into the 5. Every couple 5-minute candles, we were touching this. A bunch of these in a row, we're just riding the 5 up. This, from here to here, it looks like the 5 went sideways. That's what I mean. We kind of just ran up into this channel. So again, we interacted with the same channel. We did a bounce off of the bottom edge of the channel, and we ran up into the top edge of the channel. Then we broke out. And are we going to retest into it? No. Looks like we're not doing it today. Oh, really close. Is it going to keep coming back? Yes, there you go. This, if you had this on your chart to trade this today, this would have been phenomenal. Seeing this channel in play again, broke out, retested, even these small candles. It's like, I love seeing these small candles and then taking in the direction it goes. But in this case, with this right here, I don't know if I would have been going bearish. I would have been thinking this could just hold this level. I'm not saying it's gonna, but let's look at the next candle and see if it does. Get the squeeze fired bearish, and it bounces. So the channel, or at least these lines on here, are stronger than the squeeze and the signals here, saying this is the level we're going to hold. So, and then it just runs all the way up to 1665, pauses there, breaks out, retests. Look at this S curve here. Just runs up, nice little S curve. And I glanced into this today to see, okay, what could this be doing? I saw this dip right here, and it started to rally. I'm like, I think that's it. Like, what if that's it? What if that's the only pullback out of all of this? That's all you get. And it wasn't until looking at this chart with the line on here, it's like, oh man, that's why it bounced there. So again, hugely helpful to have these lines on. I don't even always have them on when I'm going from chart to chart or busy with other things. I'll just glance and see, okay, where's this at? And that would have been a great place to buy it. Like, look at this risk to reward. You're going to go bullish above here and stop right here, or you're going to get in bullish as it pulls back into this. Let's see what that could have been. So right at noon, it pulls into this. Maybe 12:05, you're buying. Let's look at the 1675 calls. That would have been $8. $8. Could have been $8 as it pulled into that line. Probably easily done 8 by 7. Even something like this, maybe you're a little bit above 8, thinking maybe it'll come back to that. Maybe you're doing 8 by Yeah, 7. I don't know if you would want to do 8 by 750, but again, getting in at 8, it almost doubled out to 16 here. And that's the 1675 calls that ended up being almost in the money up here. Not quite in the money, really close. And nothing really happening on the put side. I mean, you had this consolidation here, which once this goes sideways for so long, it's sometimes it's just a matter of time till you're going to have some selling candles, and sometimes it's going to just pull those bears in, thinking it's going to roll down, and then it doesn't. Like you get a couple of these, and then it'll just shoot up higher. It's like, okay, the bears didn't really do much there, and it trapped them, which means it's more bullish than you even anticipated. So in this case, it's you got 3 bearish candles, these really small, really small candles, doji candles in here, and then a continuation, and that's it. I mean, you had 30 in 30 minutes here. You had 5 of these being bearish candles. That was, I think, the most. Let's see. Here's 4 in 25 minutes. Here's 4. I guess this is 4 in 30 minutes, but I'm seeing this as being more impactful than this, because this one actually touched the 21 pretty quickly here. It went sideways and pulled back. So this is really the only chance to do anything bearish today. But the other thing I was looking at without these lines is just looking at the level. So if you look at my cursor, hang on, let me just draw it. I'm definitely out of practice. Okay, if I draw where we bounced today, something like that to the left. So even if you didn't have the uptrend channel, you had this price right in here interacting with some prices. Oops, right here. You had this interacting with some prices on its way down and on its way up. These were the highs in here, and 1650 is a nice round number, so it makes sense to have something interact with that price. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe just 5, and then a 6th touch. I mean, you could have just been buying that because it had these nice even numbers, nice clean points in here where it came up to 1650. And I don't have the line drawn in on a longer time frame. I'm going to take out some of these other ones, even though we're climbing again. But it's a nice round number. 1650s. I mean, anything that ends in the 25, 50, 75, or 100. Those are the option strikes that I like to look at. There's more volume there. There's something more significant about it just ending in that, 25 or 50, 75 or zeros, 100. So, yeah, we'll see if we can get up into 1675, if we can get up into 1700, hit some of these round numbers on our way back up. If you look at this just like this, I mean, it looks like we moved down really quickly. If you, I had this framed in some way earlier when I was looking at this. Trying to see where it was again. I was seeing a triangle here, and I mean, I still see it. I see these higher lows and relative highs here. I guess I'll just hold my cursor here. You had these highs down here, didn't quite make it up, and then we pushed through. So it's kind of like a false breakout that didn't hold the highs, and then a false rollover because this slope is steeper than where this low pulled in. Let me see if I can draw this, because it's like if I draw this, something like that, it looks like that's a breakdown. And if I draw from this level over here, it looks like that's a breakout. So in this triangle, if you had taken kind of these highs and taken these lows and drawn a triangle, you would have had a false breakout, and a false breakdown, and then another breakout that was real. And it just shows that there's some indecision in all this down here. And there's people who are getting in thinking that's it, it's going to go, and then they can get stopped out or trailed out really easily. And this just gives me the same picture of what's happening for the 5 minute as a fractal of the daily, where we have this triangle where we're breaking out, and now we pulled back further than expected, breaking through some of these lows, even this uptrend low, and now we're starting to break out again. So I see what's happened down here. Zoom in on just the day and just this. Okay, I know this triangle looks different on the daily, but just hang with me on the triangle idea, because Amazon loves doing triangles. So on the daily, we have a downtrend line. We don't really have an uptrend like this. We have more of a flat bottom and a slight down slope. But if you picture the idea of having a false breakout and a false rollover, and now we're starting to recover with a Morningstar reversal sort of look, that's what's happened. Like, I'm describing both this 5 minute down here, and I'm describing the daily over here, this sort of a bounce. So this triangle, maybe that line's not right. I mean, if I redraw this line up here, hey, look, that starts to fit again. I just grab the highs here and here, and I mean, I can redraw that as its own. Maybe this isn't the real breakout where I thought it was, because we had the squeeze fire for so long, or forming for so long. Now it's firing, but I can redraw that. I mean, that's a nice fit. Maybe I just got too aggressive with that downslope. This one was fitting, and then see what happened to that one. We started to bounce and hold this. I don't have a clear lows. I don't have clear lows to connect, but if I did, it would be something where I'm not going to draw from way down here. I'm going to draw from like one of these and do something like that. And see that, oh, look, I've got these lows and this is my apex, and I'm starting to break out. Okay, so take this idea of a triangle back to the 5 minute, where I have some lows, where I don't grab the absolute low, I'm grabbing some other lows nearby. And, even though I reach what my apex should be, and I'm starting to break out, now I've pulled back through both. And now down here, I'm starting to actually do the real move. Oops. There we go. Let's see if we can do side by side. It's really hard to see side by side. There's so many lines on here on the daily. So I'm talking about this triangle. Oh, let me select both. Come on, that one. It won't let me select both. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. No, I don't know why. Okay, this triangle, false breakout, false breakdown, or a reversal. This triangle, false breakout, false breakdown, or a reversal. I'm just seeing it, the factorial thing. Yeah, the factorial. Sorry. Did I mention I was sick? I'm still getting over it. The fractal idea coming into play so strongly here. And then, obviously, if you take this further, so the actual close of Friday closed, at a high of the day. We're not there. We haven't made a new high yet. We haven't made a new high in the month yet. Remember how this high from last month is, no, this was January. Did we make a high in the month? Wait, this one was January. Oh, we did make a high in the month. I think I forgot. I forgot this was March. I was thinking this is still February. All right, I gotta look at the monthly. That's not what I want to do. I need to stop drawing. this back out. Take this. Take this. Maximize cell. There we go. Okay. We'll switch this over to monthly. Okay, so we did make a higher high in the monthly. Good, finally. First higher high in the monthly. Really small candle. This could be the breakout. This is why I was saying it could really run from here. I mean, really, it could. It's kind of cool how that channel kind of continues up there for a while, for a long time, for like years. Anyway, didn't mean to do that. I meant to switch back to the daily. And there we go. So I know it's hard to see. Can I turn off all the lines at once? I'm sure there's a way to. These patterns. I don't remember how to turn off all the lines, but maybe I can figure out how to do that. We can just look at a clean chart, and then I can just sketch some things. So in here, show something. Appearance? No. I don't remember how to. I know in some other programs it's really easy to like toggle your drawings on and off. Can I just hide all? Show all? Draw. I don't want to delete. I just want to. No. Oh, wow, I have some really old charts from there. All right, anyway. So here we are. This is where I feel like we're going now. Can I say I feel like we're going bullish? If we continue this, we should get, if we continue the fractal idea, we should continue with a close soon above the highs that we've been stuck under, which means we should get a close up here soon above the highs we've been stuck under. And then from there, we should get some kind of retest before we just rocket higher, because that is what that's what today happened to that pattern. After so much selling off, where it's like, it's so obviously bullish, it's gonna go, it just had this grind lower. I mean, even this sort of dip grind lower, not even grind, looks like how quickly this all, not quickly, how steeply this all happened, you know? I'm just seeing it on a fractal level, that what we're seeing on the smaller 5 minute could happen on the daily. And if you wanted to start to look at your own plans for where this thing could go, and the whole idea of buy low, sell high, and where you could have some options for, positioning over longer term. I mean, don't go off of what I'm saying. Just make sure you're studying it yourselves. I just see the potential is there, So I hope you're following along. Hope that makes sense. And I hope I'm better soon, so that these videos sound a little better with me, and so I don't have to skip more days, because I missed doing it. I just knew I didn't have the mental capacity to. So thank you for finding this one again, and yeah. Let's see. I think that was all I wanted to cover today. After all these days, I didn't really want to dive into all of the bearish things you could have been doing. Feel free to go back, look at any of the bearish days that we've had where we're looking in the 5 minutes, anywhere in here. I mean, look up the date and look up the video. That's how they're tied together. So you can see the recap of those kinds of days. So, I just wanted to get caught up to today, and I plan on continuing this week with the videos. So get back to some normal things here this week. And yeah, thanks. This is just AMZN.